Hello, everybody. Welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door. And it's all over. We have reached round 46. Welcome to Championship, not review and reaction, preview and prediction. Look at that. The banner's wrong. Appalling. Let's take it down. But we are here to preview the last round of Championship games. And by God, we do have something to play for in this one, and a very, very interesting afternoon lies ahead on Saturday early. Join me on the Super Stream because we're going to find out who is going to be getting relegated. 3 teams from a potential for Wycombe, mathematically, with a 14-goal win, can stay up. But the big story is obviously head-to-head between Sheffield Wednesday and Derby County, with, of course, Rotherham waiting in the wings should results go their way. Let me know that you can see me, hear me loudly and clearly. And, of course, we need your predictions for all of these games as we go along. Before we get into the games, you will see from the bottom that for the third, week running, we are going from bottom to top. The only interest left at the top of the table is who's going to finish 4th, 5th, and 6th, frankly. All the rest of the interest is at the bottom. So we're going to go from the bottom up one more time. Thank you, as ever, not to Russ. We'll say thank you to Russ anyway. We'll say bigger thank you to the Donovan brothers, because they're the actual correct sponsor for this show. I'm all over the place today. And they sponsor in loving memory of Michael of South East London, lifelong Millwall fan, admirer of this show. Thank you to the Donovans for their support. They got involved over on Patreon. You can do the same. We're going to record the Thursday Q&A probably sometime after this afternoon. Looking forward to that Patreon exclusive show. It's going to try and get a third one on there next season, so everything's rolling nicely there. Have a think about getting involved over on Patreon. We will do some small Q&A if we're under the hour for this show, as always we do. You can support via Super Chat at any point in the broadcast, and you can become the king of the bin or own Pedant Corner, etc., etc. For the princely sum of absolutely nothing, please hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, ring the bell. Most importantly, comment, share your knowledge, have your say, etc., etc. Where's me running order gone? There it is. Let's say hello to some people in the chat here. Liam, Sophie, James, Mr. E, John, Balboa Guy, Leeds 2021, Dan, Chris. Look at that, 215 correct. I don't think you're going to make that up in the last round, Chris. Gaza, Matt, Owen, John. I think we said hello to everyone there. Tyler, Adam, Alfie, and another John. Good. We got plenty of people ready to make some predictions. So we must start down at the bottom. And our first game is Wycombe versus Borough. Wycombe versus Borough. Let me say that the right way around. Borough versus Wycombe. Get your predictions in, please. Borough, draw, or Wycombe in this one. And for the first time today, here come the hopefully very clearly worded and typed out permutations from me. So don't worry about any other club. We're talking only about Wycombe. So we're in the realms of the unlikely, but I thought we were in the realms of the unlikely with Swansea and Forest last year. So we need to go over it anyway. This is highly more unlikely. So for Wycombe to stay up, they need to win their game. They need Sheffield Wednesday to beat Derby by 1 goal, preferably. They need Rotherham to fail to win, and then a 14-goal victory over Borough. Remember, if Wednesday were to beat Derby by 2, add another goal on every single time that game increases in volume of victory. And the big asterisk down there, if Wycombe lose or draw, they are definitely down. Of course, they could finish on the same amount of points as 22nd. So we will see, but very, very unlikely for Wycombe. How do you see them going? Get your predictions in. Borough, draw, or Wycombe. Of course, there are 2 teams in this match. So we'll talk about Borough, who have got 7 points in the last 3 games, moving along nicely into 10th after a bad run. Borough's upside there could catch... they could feasibly go past Cardiff. We'll talk about Cardiff in a second because they're involved in one of our big games as well. Middlesbrough could also be surpassed by Luton or Millwall. So a bit of a spread for Borough. They could be as low as 12th. They could be as high as 8th. They'll hope that it's the latter. And of course, for Wycombe, it's been a really decent run since, 19, 20 games ago, where the points have picked up a little bit more, maybe a couple less games than that. Can they finish out the season with a victory and potentially finish either... Well, they're going to finish a maximum of 6 points off 21st. They could finish equal on points with 21st, which would be quite something, and only 3 points shy of the point per game for the whole season. Let's do the homes and aways real quick. Borough at home, that's decent, 10 points in 5. Wycombe's away form, even though their form period has picked up, only 3 wins through the season. But look, 5 points in the last 4 for Wycombe. What are you guys saying? Are Wycombe going to get a victory between now and the end of the season in their remaining game? Don't know why I quite worded it that way. Let's see what we're saying. Away. So remember that would be Wycombe. Borough, draw, Borough. Wycombe, I assume that's home. Wycombe 13-0. There you go. They're going to miss by 1. Or they're going to win 15-0, but then Derby are going to draw and move a point ahead of them, yeah? Borough, come on, Wycombe, 17-0 Wycombe. There we go. A bridge too far for Wycombe. Borough, yeah, lots of shouts for gigantic scores that are not going to happen. John's got the Wycombe badge in there. A totally meaningless and unhelpful draw. See you again soon, I hope. You stay subscribed, John. Draw, Borough. Let's be fair to Wycombe. Well, I hope we are perfectly fair to Wycombe, and I do agree they've done very well. Borough, I'm going to ignore the giant scores. Draw, Borough, and I hate to say it, but I think Middlesbrough are going to win this one home, and I think we will be saying a fond farewell to Wycombe. I do agree with what Russ said, and I by no means want to patronise Wycombe, but 40 points, excellent, given size and spend and COVID and all of those things. They've not disgraced themselves, Wycombe, especially in the second half of the season. So I will go for a Borough win, and we will move on to what could well be the most nervous game of football anybody has ever watched in their lives. Apologies to Derby and Wednesday fans before we get into this one, but I know we've got plenty of neutrals. This is exactly what we wanted. We wanted the head-to-head. My heart's almost sped up even thinking about it, for goodness sake. I just caught the last 10 minutes. I was covering Ipswich on Tuesday of Rotherham and Luton, and I could feel the nerves coming through the screen on that one. God knows how this one is going to be for nerves. But Derby versus Sheffield Wednesday. What a match. Well done, Fixture Computer, is all I will say. Get your predictions in, please. Derby, draw, or Wednesday. Not that your predictions should be decided upon this, but let me give you the permutations. For Sheffield Wednesday to stay up, they need to win against Derby. They need Wycombe not to win by 14 more goals than they win by. They need Rotherham to fail to win. So for Wednesday to stay up, they need to win their game, essentially, and hope that Rotherham do not win against Cardiff. Big asterisk, if Wednesday don't win, they are definitely down. Wednesday could still be relegated with a win. Imagine Wednesday beating Derby and then Rotherham scoring some 97th minute winner. It just could be an incredible afternoon. I hope it's not all done by half time, like sometimes these goes. So one more time, Wednesday have to win or they're definitely down, and they could still win and still go down. On Derby, a win confirms safety. Now, Derby, the only team in this race where we can say that. So that's going to be some kind of an advantage. Derby know if they win, it's done. No one can catch them. A draw for Derby and Rotherham failing to win is okay. But here's the kicker here with Derby, because they're going against their direct rival here, Sheffield Wednesday. Derby know if they lose, they are down. So Derby know that lose this game, Sheffield Wednesday finish above them. They're in the bottom three. And of course, Rotherham can also still finish above Derby. Derby could finish 23rd if they lose this game and Rotherham also win. Wow. Bring it on is all I can say. I'm getting excited even just talking about it. Should we actually talk about the game then rather than the permutation? So a magnificent slugfest this between two big clubs who should know way, way better than to be down here. But hey, bigger clubs, Forest, Leeds, etc., have been in League One. Wednesday themselves have been down there. So get your predictions in, please, guys. Derby, draw, or Wednesday. Well, Wednesday not losing. And if you look down there, unbelievably, other than Wickham, they're in the best form of anybody out of the four because they managed to get 5 points in the last 4 games. It really has been snail races, hasn't it? By the way, who's been saying 45 to survive all season? Anybody? We know 22nd can't get more than 44. So I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. 45 to survive is going to be correct again. Well, could even be less if we get a draw in this one as well. Derby just hopeless, awful run, 7 straight defeats, chaos, take the lead in the last game and lose. It's all set up, isn't it? It's absolutely all set up. We know in terms of excitement, the worst case scenario is Derby are 2-0 up in 10 minutes and then everybody's done. Doesn't matter what anybody else does. So I'd like all the games to be 0-0 with 30 minutes left. I think that would amuse me. But again, I understand this is people's football clubs and not just about my entertainment. On Saturday, there's Derby's home form. Back-to-back defeats there. Do have a win fairly recently against Luton. Sheffield Wednesday's away form is the worst in the league. Nobody has fewer points away than Sheffield Wednesday. Shall we see what you guys are saying in the chat on the game of the season? Unbelievable. Wow, look at that. John, what a huge super chat. Thank you so much. John, came for the football, will stay for the rants. 43 smackers for the foot. John, that's ever so kind. Thank you so much. Really, really does mean a lot. Thank you very much for that giant super chat. Right. What are you guys saying here on this incredible matchup we've got? 2-2. John himself saying home. Derby to take the lead but lose 2-1. Could well happen. Draw 1-1. Derby to edge it 2-1. Sorry to fans, but on current form, Rotherham, Wednesday and Derby could all contrive to lose just as well. 2 of them are playing each other. That's the one good thing about this, Sophie, isn't it? We can't have the everybody loses scenario, which sometimes does happen in these situations. Derby, draw. Derby, 2-0. Unhelpful draw, 1-1. 2-0 Wednesday. Wednesday win, but both go down. That would mean a Rotherham win as well. So we know what Gaz is predicting in the next one. Away, draw, but tight game. Wednesday 2-1. Yes, we'll be watching on Sky. Neither side can come from behind. Derby's defence is the worst of the two. Wednesday and oblivion for Derbyers. Takeover won't happen. There we go. Wednesday on form. Draw. Hell of a super chat. Yeah, thank you. Everybody's giving John a shout out there. Very, very kind. 84 for promotion. Russell, do your reading. At the moment, it's 85. So we'll see what Brentford do. But Yeah, there you go. Some idiotic friends of yours, Russ, said 90, didn't they? Yeah, amazing. Right. Think Wednesday will win, but Rotherham also to win. We'll talk about Rotherham in a second. Just on this one here. Draw. Derby lose. Right. What am I saying? I think I am going to say, and this may involve a late goal, let's say draw. Unbelievable. I think they'll cancel each other out. I think it's going to be 2-10s for there to be a winner. I think someone said in the chat too much on it. So I've got Wycombe losing. I've got Derby and Wednesday drawing, which would mean if we are about to predict a Rotherham winner, that would keep them in the division. So why don't we move on to game number 3 of our filthy trio here? Cardiff versus Rotherham. Get your predictions in. Cardiff versus Rotherham. Hopefully, nice and simplistically, here is the state of play. For Rotherham to stay up, they need to win this game. A draw is not good enough. They need Derby to fail to beat Sheffield Wednesday. So essentially, I've predicted a draw. That's half the battle there. Big asterisk. If Rotherham win, they are down and could still be relegated with a win. So remember, if Rotherham win plus a Derby win, and Rotherham are still down. Derby are the only team that know, we do destiny in our own hands a lot. Derby are the only team that know a win guarantees safety. Okay, so let's talk about Rotherham and their visit to Cardiff. Get your predictions in, please, guys. Cardiff, draw, or Rotherham. And Cardiff actually are unbeaten there in those last 5. I don't know if that goes back any further. They won 4-0 at Birmingham. Harry Wilson hat-trick. Big caveat in that. Birmingham played about 5 youngsters in that game as well. However, Cardiff are playing to finish in 7th place. And we know Mick McCarthy still has his 10 metres and his 15 metres swimming certificates on his wall, doesn't he? He wants 7th place, old Mick. He's not gonna lay down for anyone, not even one of his Yorkshire friends in Rotherham. Rotherham have managed to draw the last 2 games. However, they just don't score any goals, do they? It was 0-0 against Luton, 1-1 against Blackburn. Lewis Wigg from a set play getting the goal there. Let's look at the homes and aways. Cardiff at home are not great. 17th most points scored in the division there. Away from home, Rotherham, no wins there in 5. Don't know how much further that goes back. Essentially 17th and 19th, respectively, home and away form. I suspect Rotherham will hope for the wild card one-off cup tie atmosphere theory or something. Should we see what you guys are saying in the chat on this one? How high do I need to scroll to get your predictions in? Right, here we go. Rotherham, Cardiff, 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 Rotherham, Rotherham, draw. 3-0 Cardiff, 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 Cardiff. I've seen Rotherham many times. They couldn't score in a brothel. Cardiff, Rotherham, Cardiff away just because it'd be fun, wouldn't it? Rotherham to win 1-0. Rotherham to show up and take the 3 points. Cardiff away, Cardiff, draw. Don't do this to me. Don't blame me, Glenn. Cardiff, Rotherham create good chances. Surely one will go in. A Mick McCarthy team is really one of the last teams Rotherham want to be facing. Absolutely. Rotherham have it in them to score. 2-1 Rotherham. There you go. You guys are all over the place. You're going to hate me for this prediction. I think Rotherham will take the lead, but will not win. You can just see Cardiff equalising on the hour mark and Mick just ruining everything for everybody. Draw. Oh, goodness me. So that means I have Derby surviving. So let me just bring the table up. On my 3 predictions, I don't know what you guys have got in terms of the actual 3 accumulated together. I've got Wycombe finishing on 40. I've got Wednesday on 41, Rotherham on 42, and Derby on 44. God, who knows what is going to happen? Is possession really 9/10 of the law? It is. When you actually slice it, Derby are favourites here. But there's just that one factor of Sheffield Wednesday don't have that, do we just defend and play for a draw here? Sheffield Wednesday know they need to score goals, they need to win the game. So whether that X factor comes in terms of Derby and Wednesday, I don't know. The fact that Derby could sit in there for the draw, but they do know that the win keeps them up. It's going to be brilliant. I can't wait for it. It's going to be very, very nervy, very, very tense. But that is going to be an incredible last day of the season. And let's hope that we don't get what sometimes happens in these situations where everything swings early in the game. For example, if we get a situation where Cardiff and Derby score early, then everything looks very, very unlikely to go against Derby at that point. It's going to be great, isn't it? We are going to go through the rest of the predictions now. Before I forget, because I did the other day, and I'll get in trouble off the sponsors, right at the end I did it. Let's do it earlier today. 20% off your order at Cards Plug. Visit cardsplug.com/Bloom. Enter the discount code Bloom at checkout. Get 20% off your order here. You can get a wall fixing for this stuff. And you decide the stats. I personally had scientists choose my accurate stats here. So head over to Cards Plug. We did a giveaway as well. Anir won, familiar to the channel, over on Cards Plug. Cardsplug.com/Bloom. Enter discount code Bloom at checkout. Okay, guys. Are you ready for a load of dead rubbers until we get to the playoffs teams? We always knew it was going to be this way, didn't we? So we'll run through fairly quickly and then we'll try and figure out who the hell is going to play who in the playoffs. So first of all, I won't stand on ceremony, but we've got a load of on the beach games coming up for all of you guys. The first one is Huddersfield versus Reading. Excuse me, I'm the wrong way around again. Reading versus Huddersfield. Let's do this nice and quick. Predictions in, please. Reading versus Huddersfield. Both sides, I suspect, I've done the season review for Reading, haven't done Huddersfield. I think both sides would have taken that before the season, wouldn't they? Corberon in and survived, feet under the table, viable, some saleable assets now, Koroma, Pippa, Toffolo, etc., and not being relegated, essentially, given the losing trend at Huddersfield over the years. Reading, huge jump from 14th up to 7th. Obviously, they could potentially drop below Cardiff for that last game of the season. Predictions, please. Reading, draw, or Huddersfield. There's the homes. Look, Reading, good home form, actually. Look at that. 9 points in the last 5 undefeated. Huddersfield, away form, not good. Look, there's going to be goals galore. So across a lot of these last round of the season games, because there always is. So don't worry about your score lines. Just get your predictions in, please. Reading, draw, or Huddersfield. Love a bit of beach ball. We do Reading, draw. Reading, home. Huddersfield. Peter always goes for the underdog. I've noticed this, Peter. I see a pattern. Final game for Omar Richards. Yeah, good luck to him. Off to Bayern Munich, I believe I'm right in saying. Reading, Huddersfield, home. Reading, donkey ride of the season. Lovely stuff. Reading and Reading. There we go. Okay, I'll go with the chat then. Home, Reading. And that will give them 7th place, which is excellent to jump up from 14th. Last season, given that, well, what did they do? They already had a Jari and they kind of signed him, Josh Laurent, on a free. By the way, check out my 20 best signings of the season video and best loan signings, which went up yesterday. Right, moving on. Bristol City versus Brentford. Now, this is a dead rubber because Brentford are guaranteed third place. We'll talk about the playoffs properly in a second. And really the case for Brentford, well, look, we'll just leave it until we do Barnsley and Bournemouth and Swansea. But Brentford are definitely going to be in third. They're going to be playing at home in the second leg of their game, possibly in front of fans. We're hearing lots of back and forth about the playoff teams possibly having home fans in the stands. So we'll see how that works out. Bristol City just horrible. I'm sure you've seen Bart Bialkowski's comments yesterday saying they were completely done and no one tried a leg basically in the game against Millwall. I think a lot of Bristol City fans actually agree with that. Predictions in for this one. Let's do our homes and aways. Bristol City draw or Brentford. Obviously, Bristol City's home form is just dire. Their form anywhere is dire. They need a complete reset in the summer, don't they? Only Birmingham and Rotherham have fewer home points. And look at Brentford's away form. Whoop-de-doo. Only Norwich, who are miles clear there with 9 more, have more away points than Brentford do. And if I'm Brentford, I'm going to want to stick 87 on the board. We were talking about the 10-year averages, weren't we? The 10-year average for automatic, as Russ somewhat pedantically pointed out, like it was a prediction rather than me just saying what the 10-year average is 84. So they're going to be going above that with a win. Every little bit of logic tells me that Brentford will be strong favourites to win this one. Somebody has to. There we go, Peter. By the way, Peter donated the slush fund for the predictions video, which we'll be looking at on Sunday. Someone's going to win 100 quid for making the best predictions before the season started. I think that's a previous one. Let's go on here. Right, Brentford away. Frank said he's playing a strong team. Brentford hat-trick. At least we don't have the anxiety of seeing Ivan Toney not quite get 30 goals because he's done it now. Bees, Desmond, sand in all the wrong places. You love to see it. Brentford away. Pearson just signed a new contract. How do I feel about that? I'm okay with it. I know a lot of people are questioning it, aren't they? Cricket score, Brentford away. There we go. There's a home win in there. John's pop one in there. Go on then. Away, Brentford to get 87 points. God damn it. Which would be a hell of a total for a team to not get promoted with, wouldn't it? If they do lose in the playoffs with 87. Oof. Nobody likes to see that, do they? I think Ipswich did it with 87 one of the seasons. I think they lost in the playoffs. Yeah, goodness me. Right, where are we going next, guys? Obviously to the beach at some point. Sorry, I'm following the ticker. It's going to appear. Here it comes. Game number 6. Blackburn. Excuse me. Blackburn versus Birmingham. We call that the David Dunn derby. Blackburn versus Birmingham. Complete dead rubber. You love to see it. 8-8 draw then probably. Predictions in, please, guys. Blackburn versus Birmingham. Blackburn draw or Birmingham will do you. Blackburn 15th in the table. I don't know, underachievement, you tell me. Birmingham just took the foot off the gas in the last game, played some youngsters, didn't they, after the great run under Lee Bow. We'll see what sort of team he sticks out for this last game. Of course, Birmingham can go above Blackburn with a win in this one. So guaranteed to get another place up the table, at least if they can get the victory. Blackburn, the most likely team to score 5 goals on the last day of the season. It's just the sort of thing they would do with Armstrong and Elliott and the boys there. Blackburn at home, back-to-back wins, and Armstrong coming up to 25 goals now for the rest for the season. He's scored 6 in about his last 4 games, I think, or something, hasn't he? Birmingham back-to-back wins away from home. Will they go with the youngsters again? I don't know. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Blackburn, right, we start there. Blues, Blackburn, Blues, draw. If you don't care, I'd suggest not watching the video. Matt, we do this every week. Draw, Birmingham, Blackburn, home, draw, the Alex Bruce derby, draw, away, Birmingham, Blackburn, Birmingham, draw, draw to the sound of the seagulls following the troller, Desmond, Blackburn. Oh, you do care, Matt. Good to see. Look, I think this one's going to be, I think it's going to be like 3-2 or something. So I'm going to go home. We'll go home, and Blackburn, just when the intensity drops, Blackburn will score goals, won't they? So we'll go for a home win there. Right, moving on. I promise the one after this is not a dead rubber, but this one is Coventry versus Millwall. We're on the beach for this one as well. Guys, get your predictions in. Coventry versus Millwall. Coventry have done their work. Well done to them. They are in 17th position. Predictions, please. Coventry, draw, or Millwall. Millwall are not going to get 8th place like they have done 2 seasons out of the last 3. They could get up to 9th if everything were to go well for them. They could finish below Luton if everything goes badly for them, just inside that top half. Coventry, good job. Look at those 3 straight wins at the end of the season. Bosh. And you look at those 3 green circles with the W in compared to the team struggling at the bottom, and you can see why Coventry are not in that position. Look at Coventry's home form as well. 10 points in 5. 10th best home form in the league. That's very, very good for a team just up from League One. Yes, I understand what Barnsley and Luton have done in their second seasons, but Coventry here in their first season, and Millwall's away form is decent. They're 9th best in the division. What are you guys saying in the chat? What is that noise? Sounds like a flying saucer. If these are my last words ever and I'm about to get abducted by aliens, it's been nice. Been nice knowing you all. I think a low-flying craft outside here. Right, where are we going? Coventry, Millwall, Coventry, Millwall, Coventry, draw, Coventry, Millwall, Dion Dublin derby. You love to see it. Millwall Bank, Cov have lots of injuries. We don't do the beach. Just in the middle of the season, not the end of the season, eh, Chris? Millwall, Cov to get a win in their last game at St Andrews. Yeah, great that Coventry are going to be back at home. Coventry, Millwall, Coventry, draw, distracted. Walking on the beaches, looking at the peaches. Down and I'm going to go for an unhelpful Gary Rowett special. Draw. But because it's the last day of the season, I suppose we can make it a 2-2 draw or something. Right. A game with something riding on it, ladies and gentlemen, is Bournemouth versus Stoke. So we are trying to figure out who is going to play who in the playoffs. Let's just bring up, we've got a slide for Bournemouth, haven't we? There we go. Bournemouth will finish 5th unless Barnsley better their result. A win over Stoke and a Swansea defeat at Watford, which is plausible, would actually put Bournemouth into 4th, whereby they would avoid Brentford and Barnsley, and they would likely be playing Swansea then, 4th versus 5th. A lot of this shakes out, I have to say, before we do all the analysis, a lot of this shakes out to Barnsley versus Brentford and Bournemouth versus Swansea. That just seems to be the way the playoff cookie seems to be crumbling. But hey, it's the Championship, is always my get out for any vague prediction. Predictions, please. Bournemouth versus Stoke. Stoke absolutely underachieving big style and dropping off to 14th. They could go as low as 15th with a Blackburn victory and a Bournemouth victory, obviously, in this one. Get those predictions in. I did say Blackburn would be your best end-of-term team, but look at Bournemouth. Bournemouth with as many goals there as Norwich. Only Brentford have scored more goals than Bournemouth. We'll see what Woodgate does with the team and how many are rested. I think there was a few sat out the last game for Bournemouth. They're going to have had a nice rest going into the playoffs, potentially. Do you really see Stoke turning up at Bournemouth and getting a win? Anyway, let me not influence your predictions. That's entirely up to you. Bournemouth, fourth most points accumulated at home. Only Brentford, Norwich, Watford, the top three, have more home points. Stoke away from home, 17th. Just the whole thing reeks of underachievement for Stoke, doesn't it? What are you guys saying in the chat? Here we go. Bournemouth. Draw home. Bournemouth. Ben's actually got Bournemouth finishing in fourth. There you go. Home, draw. Both teams to score. Bournemouth win. Bournemouth. Okay, we're fairly unanimous here. Draw. Bournemouth annihilation. Bournemouth. I don't think Bournemouth will be over-bothered, but I'll still say home. And greetings from Germany there, LS14. Stoke, no pal. They look toothless against QPR. Well, I'm going to go with the majority of the chat, which would mean Bournemouth, potentially, depending on what we say for Swansea and Watford, Bournemouth could go fourth, even though there seems to be a fair chance that they might just be switching places with Swansea and still playing them in the playoffs. We're just deciding who plays home first. I think I've already given away my prediction. Home. Bournemouth to win this one. Right, guys, we've got to go back off to the coast and we're going back to the beach, I'm afraid. Get your predictions in. Nottingham Forest versus Preston. Forest versus Preston, please. Predictions in. Forest, draw, or Preston. Yes, I understand it's a dead rubber, but we have a job to do here. Preston, 3 straight victories under Frankie McAvoy. They cannot finish in the top half, but they can finish top of the bottom half if they can get another win. That will guarantee it, although we have just predicted that Stoke are not going to beat Bournemouth, so they're probably going to stay there anyway, according to whether you put any faith in my predictions or our predictions as a group think here. Forest, bit of a disappointing end to the season, actually. I thought they would get closer to 60 than they have, just on 52 going into the last game of the season. Let's do our homes and aways. We won't labour this one. Forest at home, only 1 win in 5 there, and only 4 teams there have got fewer home points this season than Forest. Preston's away from, look at that, 7 points in 3 for Preston. Let's go straight into the chat and see what you guys are saying. There we go. Draw, Forest, Preston, Forest, draw, low scoring draw. Cal, stick that question in at the end of the show. Good one. I approve of the flamingos. You can get a flamingo emoji. Tremendous emoji use, Shane. I didn't realise that. Forest. Preston, Chris is banging the drum for McAvoy for the job here. Unhelpful draw, Forest, draw, home. Forest surfing in the rollers. Gaz is always good for his beach puns or beach analogies. Preston 1-0, first goal of the day. Unbelievable. Preston. Okay. Go on then. Do I have to play the Joker for this one if I call Preston? No, they're above them in the league. So my Joker is still intact. Go on then. Away. Only because the chat says so. Right. On the beach for one more. And then we've got 2 games with something potentially riding on them in terms of playoff positions. But first of all, QPR versus Luton in the Roy Wegley derby. His name always comes up for this one. Predictions, please. QPR, draw, or Luton. I've done my QPR, or I did my QPR review yesterday. Check that out on the channel. And the consensus from everybody, really, including me, was that QPR have improved almost twofold in the second half of the season. I believe from the moment Austin makes his debut only Watford and Norwich have scored more points than Rangers this season. So they've ended the season in very, very nice form, up into 9th place, potentially could take 8th, also potentially could be overtaken by, well, possibly not by Luton. It would need a big swing of a 9-goal swing. That would be a 5-0 victory for Luton in this game, plus some helpful results via Middlesbrough and Millwall in between them. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, please. QPR draw or Luton. There we go. QPR 9th most home points accumulated. Luton 9 points in the last 4 away from home. They can be ruthless, can't they, Luton, away from home? What are you guys saying in the chat? Draw, Luton, Rangers, draw, Rangers. Rowan Vine derby, nice. Draw, QPR. Luton, QPR, Luton. Pronounce my T, shouldn't I? Luton, Rangers, draw, Rangers, Luton win. I don't know why, but I'm finding this one incredibly hard to call. So I'm going to go for some lovely Warburton Jones end of term, as he's stolen my thunder. I was just about to say 3-3. I'm still going to say it. It's my prerogative. Draw. We'll go for a 3-3 draw. Just some mental end of season nonsense. You love to see it. Right. Let's talk about a game that has potentially something on it then, in terms of Barnsley and where they're going to finish, and are they going to avoid Brentford, and do they want to avoid Brentford? This is the question. Someone help me out in the chat. Am I right that Pookie and Skip will not be playing for Norwich? Do let me know. I think I'm right in saying no Pookie, no Skip for Norwich. I mean, big deal to Norwich. They'll just play Hugill and, I don't know, Rupp, someone whose wage probably could pay for the whole of the Rotherham squad. But hey, this is what we get in the Championship, isn't it? Don't hate the player, hate the game. Not having a pop at Norwich, having more money than everybody. That's the way the cookie crumbles, especially if you get to the Premier League. Good luck to them. Barnsley versus Norwich. Predictions, please. Norwich looking to get to 99 points, potentially, which would be a fabulous total, just one shy of the magical 100 that only, who are we thinking here? Newcastle under Houghton, Leicester under Pearson. God, who else got 100? Reading under Coppell. Sunderland under Peter Reid did it. I'm trying to think who else has done it. I've probably missed somebody blindingly obvious, but some excellent Championship teams have reached that magnificent 100-point total. So, yeah, I'm just interested to see how this one plays out, whether Ishmael will rest some players. I don't really know what he'd achieve by doing so, and whether Norwich will have a bit of a drop-off if they don't have Pookie or Skip. If they've still got Buendia, I guess they've got a chance. We do have a slide for Barnsley, I believe. There we go. Right, Barnsley, if they lose, 6th place confirmed. A draw for Barnsley and Bournemouth losing to Stoke would put them into 5th, and thus they would avoid Brentford. A win and Bournemouth fail to beat Stoke means 5th as well. Only a Swansea defeat and 11-goal swing would mean Barnsley going into 4th place. There's basically very little chance of Swansea dropping to 6th. It does look like, with that 9-goal swing, does look like Brentford and Swansea are going to avoid each other. And like I said, it is starting to look very much like Brentford versus Barnsley and Swansea versus Bournemouth, although Swansea and Bournemouth could still swap 4th and 5th on the last day, possibly. We'll see. See if Stoke can do anything against Bournemouth. That could be the fly in the ointment here. Homes and aways, Barnsley at home. Very good. Only 5 teams have more home points than Barnsley. Norwich away, outstanding. Best in the league, 48 points from 22 games. A brilliant away side. What are you guys saying? There you go. Fulham got 100. Absolutely. With Louis Saha, Louis Boamorte. What a team that was. Brilliant stuff. Right. What are you guys saying? Correct. Both are out. There we go. So it'll be Hugel and who's going to play in midfield for Norwich? I should give Alex Tetty a game if he's leaving. Pookie injured, Barnsley 2-1. Norwich, Barnsley 4-2. Norwich wouldn't mind Barnsley finishing 6th and playing Brentford over 2 legs. Barnsley. Everyone's hungover still. 2-2 away. Barnsley to win. Barnsley. Pookie, doubt for the Euros. That'd be a shame, wouldn't it? I think he deserves, especially for his championship work, a chance at the Euros, doesn't he? Draw Mike Sheeran Doe. Do you remember when QPR paid £3 million for Mike Sheeran in about 1997? Unbelievable. Barnsley want Brentford. There you go in the semi-finals. Sunderland. Are you questioning me? Or Sunderland got 106, did they? 104 with Peter Reid, 98. I'm guessing. Draw. Wolves only got 99. I know that one for a fact. Barnsley, Norwich. We've answered that one, haven't we? Norwich. Do Barnsley want to avoid? Well, we'll see. I don't know. On the basis of the second game between Barnsley and Brentford, Barnsley want to play them. On the first game, they wouldn't because it's 1 win each between those 2 teams. Saracen, there you go. Thank you, guys. Play centre mid for Norwich. 3-2 Barnsley draw. I'm procrastinating, but I think this will end in a draw. I just don't see Norwich losing, even without Pookie and Skip. But I think Barnsley will be closer to them because of it. So we'll see. We'll see which random Norwich player sticks a free kick in from 25 yards. They'll seem to be taking it in turns. My predictions are ridiculous this week. 1, 2, 3, gone for 5 draws. That will never happen. There we go. Right, finally, Watford versus Swansea. Predictions in for this one, please. Watford, draw or Swansea? Right, for Swansea, a draw confirms 4th. Defeat and a win for Bournemouth and Barnsley would tie all 3 teams on 80 points. Given goal difference, though, only Bournemouth would likely pass, which does mean it does seem odds on. Swansea, Bournemouth, I don't know. Famous last words here. Absolutely famous last words. Barnsley will go and beat Norwich or something, won't they? And we'll get a draw in one of the other games. But predictions in, please. Watford versus Swansea. And I suppose there is something to play for Watford. I'm sure when we look up the most points accumulated by a home team in the Championship, there won't be many more than... Can someone look up how many points Sunderland got at home in 98, 99 when they absolutely just peed all over the division? I can't think many more teams have got many more points than Watford at home in the Championship. So we thought it was going to be an all singing, all dancing promotion head-to-head. Sadly not. Watford can go over 91. They can go over 90 points this round. Just one off the magic 2 points per game and 92, which pretty much normally guarantees the title. But you got 2 teams over 90 potentially if Watford can get the win. Swansea to 83, and the 10-year average says 84. So you can see just off a normal automatic team, although this season quite a long way off, given Watford's 8-point lead going into this final game. Again, on Watford's home record, just stunningly good. Oh, they've already got 56, have they? Just incredible. So potentially 59 points from 23 games coming up for Watford if they can beat Swansea. Swans away record, very, very good. Only Brentford and Norwich with more away points, only 6 defeats away from home. As well, they could go over the 40 points if they were to get a victory. Again, in terms of the playoffs, Swansea only need a draw and they're guaranteed that 4th spot. And given the goal difference, like we've said, they're not really likely to go unless we get Barnsley. What was the swing again? It's like a 9 goals at +8 and +19. I think we worked out as a 9-goal swing. So you'd need Swansea to win 5-0 and or lose 5-0 and Barnsley to win 5-0 or vice versa. It's just not going to happen, is it? So I don't see Swansea dropping to 6th, put it that way. What do you guys say in the chat on this one? Watford versus Swansea. Joel, thank you. A $2.99 super chat. We will answer that. We'll do a bit of Q&A. Can someone remind me that Josh's question with the super chat needs to be the first one? Peterborough in the Championship. We must answer that one. Thank you, sir, for the super chat. Right, what are we saying here? Watford, draw. Watford. Do you think Steve Cooper will rest some players as well? They did and still beat Derby last week. Watford, draw. Watford. Watford potentially 59 points at home. Just sensational. Okay, you guys are all over Watford on this one, aren't you? Watford, Sarr in the shop window for the last time before. Hope he stays. Well, whatever happens, you're either going to have a very good player in the Premier League or a load of money in the bank. So, thanks, Dan. Sunderland, 18 wins, 3 draws. So that would be 18, 54, 57. Have I added that up right? So, yeah, they could surpass that. I assume that's the record. Reading had 19 wins and 3 draws. How many points is that? 57, 58. Oh, God. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. In which case, I love to see records broken. Home, which would put Watford to 59 points in a home season. Unbelievable scenes. Right, guys, we'll do a little bit of Q&A. First of all, let me just, not only because I can clip it and use it as another video, let's go through all of the permutations for the teams that really, really matter this weekend, okay? So for Wycombe to stay up, they need to win. Wednesday need to beat Derby by just the 1 goal. Rotherham need to fail to win. And a 14-goal swing, or a 14-goal win even, Wycombe need over Borough. Remember, if Wycombe lose or draw, they're definitely down, and they are very likely down unless they are going to win 14-0 and the other results go for them. Wycombe likely to be relegated this week. For Sheffield Wednesday to stay up, they need to win against Derby. They need Wycombe to not win by 14 goals or 14 goals more than Wednesday win by. And they need Rotherham to fail to win. If Sheffield Wednesday do not win, they are definitely down. Wednesday could still be relegated even if they win. For Rotherham to stay up, they need to win against Cardiff and Derby to fail to beat Sheffield Wednesday. If Rotherham do not win, they are down. They could still be relegated even if they do win, that being if Derby win. For Derby to stay up, a win would confirm their safety. They're the only team down there, Derby, that knows if they win, they stay up. A draw for Derby and Rotherham failing to win would also be enough. However, if Derby lose, they are definitely down. And they could possibly finish 23rd if Rotherham also win. That would mean Rotherham would survive. Up into the playoffs for Barnsley, a defeat would confirm 6th and they would face Brentford. A draw and Bournemouth losing would put them up to 5th, meaning that they would play Swansea. A win and Bournemouth fail to beat Stoke also means 5th. Only a Swansea defeat with an 11-goal swing would mean Barnsley could all potentially tie up on 80 points, but Barnsley very unlikely to finish 4th without that massive swing. For Bournemouth, they will finish 5th unless Barnsley better their result. A win over Stoke and a Swansea defeat would mean 4th. However, they probably will still play Swansea, but they would just play at home. 2nd, Swansea, a draw confirms 4th. Defeat and wins for Bournemouth and Barnsley would tie all 3 teams on 80 points. But given goal difference, only Bournemouth would likely pass. Therefore, again, I keep saying it, Swansea versus Bournemouth and Brentford versus Barnsley does look the most likely here. Brentford are guaranteed third, and given goal difference and Swansea being highly unlikely to finish sixth, are unlikely to face Swansea. We had Brentford-Swansea last season. It doesn't look like we're going to get 2 years in a row of that. Barnsley and Bournemouth seems to be the possible permutations for Brentford. Makes sense, everybody? Get it? Got it? Good. I'm not reading it again. Right. Let's do some Q&A. Where was that super chat? Joel, thank you. How do I think Posh will do in the Championship? I think they might do okay because they're set up to score goals, aren't they? The setup for Peterborough for years now has been play open football but attract high-value strikers to be able to then sell on to finance the next season. They've done it over again, haven't they? Someone will name the ones that I'm missing out here, but Marriott, Assombalonga, Gale, Tony, they've now got Johnson, Clark, Harris as well. So I think they could potentially score 50 goals in the Championship, couldn't they, over the 46 games, 50 plus, which might be enough. Have I pulled that total out of the air? No, I haven't. Look, nobody down there has got near 50. Actually, maybe that total's a bit too high. I have to go up as high as Middlesbrough. But you take my point generally. Right. Any other questions? Let's have a look here. Any other questions, guys? I've seen lots of comments. If anyone wants to stick any questions here. Coventry were unlucky. They hit the bar 25. Well, you can say unlucky or you can say their finishing wasn't quite on point, but I'm being a bit of a pedant there. Who do I think will win the playoffs in League One? Who have we got? So Hull won it, didn't they? Peterborough finished second. Who is it? Sorry, let me just bring a table up on the other screen. Blackpool, Sunderland, Pompey. Hang on. Blackpool, Sunderland, Lincoln, Pompey. Blackpool are the form team, aren't they? They've had a good streak. Pompey have got the Cowleys. Sunderland have got Streaky Lee. It's very hard for me not to bias my answer on who I don't want to be in that division next season to face Ipswich, which would probably be Sunderland. You would think could have a really strong season next season. I will go for Sunderland. I'll go for Sunderland. I know Sunderland don't like the playoffs traditionally, but I will go for Sunderland. Out of the 4 teams in the Championship playoffs, who do you think will win? Matt, I'm going to plead the fifth on that because we will do a whole lovely video on that, so I won't answer now. Can Birmingham get promoted next season? Well, they can. Anyone can get promoted, can't they? Will they? I think it'll be a struggle. I think they'll improve upon this season, of course. The Bowyer start seems to intimate that. But I think they could be. I think they could be in the top half for sure. It'd be a hell of a rise if they were to get in the playoffs. Even bigger to get into automatic. So we will see. Can the playoff winners stay up in the Premier League? I can see Watford and Norwich do it with ease. It's going to be very, very hard for whoever wins the playoffs to stay up in the Premier League, especially. Can you imagine Barnsley win the playoffs and they've been in League One a couple of seasons before? Sometimes you can go too quickly and you find yourself in this place thinking, right, what the hell do we do now? Do we try and sign some players on 50 grand a week, 2.5 million a year contracts, etc.? I don't know. I think any team that won the playoffs surely would be happy to be financially viable in the Premier League and come down with the year one parachute, nice and organised. I know that's very soulless, but that's the state of the cliff edges in football at the moment, aren't they? How do I see Reading doing next season? That depends on finances, doesn't it? Do they sell a lease and retool? I think if they have a good summer, they can actually improve on this season. We'll see. We'll see if Paunovic is a one-season wonder, won't we? Betting has been suspended on the next Preston manager. What, for Ainsworth? Do you think Ainsworth would accept it? I think he would. Yeah, I didn't realise the betting had gone down on that. Do you think Wycombe could bounce back to the Championship within 2 or 3 seasons? Good question, Dan, because you've put 2 or 3 seasons. If they lose Ainsworth and don't replace the loanees, McCarthy, Musquay, and possibly have to sell someone like Ikpeazu, and then people like Jacobson and Akinfenwa are, put out to pasture slowly. They're 35 and 38 or something. I think people like Bloomfield, Stewart are older, than your average age would want to be. So I think it might take 2 or 3 seasons rather than a straight bounce back. Who will have most transfer activity in the summer? You're looking straight away at the relegated teams and then shipping out a load of players. Fulham, probably. I would suspect it'd be Fulham, assuming they are eventually relegated, which they likely will be. Out of the teams, Niran, they've cemented a place in the Championship next season. Which one do you think is the best chance of going up? We all looked at QPR. If you extrapolate QPR's second half of the season over a whole season next season, they would probably be promoted, wouldn't they? Whether they can do that or not, or whether they have to sell Chair or Dickey or someone, who knows? You'd expect. Well, let me tell you which teams I would expect to improve, who are definitely going to be in the Championship next season. Reading, Cardiff, Middlesbrough, Millwall. You'd expect Forest, Birmingham and QPR to all improve. I would expect Stoke to improve as well from 14th, but I've been expecting them to improve for a long, long while, haven't I? And you'd think if Derby did stay up, I'm not saying they're going to get promoted, of course, you'd expect them to improve. But again, it's very, very hard. Can you imagine Big Sam stays at West Brom with a year 1 parachute payment? Good luck finishing above him, is all I will say. If Barnsley falls short, how do they keep hold of Ishmael? How do they keep hold of him? By keeping the process going at Barnsley. And yeah, you might have to, Mowat might not re-sign. He might go on a free. And you might have to sell Callum Stiles. You might not get DK back. But keep the process going, good recruitment. And, unless a big offer comes in, I don't know. Would Sheffield United go straight in for Ishmael? Unless a big offer comes in, who knows? Which players will get bought out of the Championship by Premier League clubs? Elise, I think, is the obvious one at Reading, isn't he? Maybe Dickey, QPR. McNair, would a Premier League club take McNair? I don't know. Millwall, Wallace. Luton, well, best player is Dewsbury Hall, probably, isn't it? So he's on loan anyway. Elliott's the best player at Blackburn. Stoke, maybe. Suter. I don't know. A few there. Steve, Stoke to be relegation fodder next year. No parachute payments next year. Let's see. Let's see if they get chaotic. If Sunderland face Lincoln in the League One playoffs, what do you think the Sunderland game will be? Game plan? Be nice and open, shouldn't it? Get the ball to McGeady and get McGeady to get the ball to Wyke, I guess. Who's the best performing manager in the bottom half? On a short sample size, McAvoy, the caretaker at Preston. Robbins, very good at Coventry. Bowyer, for the time he's been there, exceptional at Birmingham. Corberon, decent for Huddersfield, needs to improve from 20th, doesn't he? And if anyone out of Rotherham or Wickham or Sheffield Wednesday to survive, you'd give him a big tick in the box there, wouldn't you? Bayo for next Wickham manager. I'm sure he's got enough charisma and confidence to do it, hasn't he? Am I going to do playoff videos for all divisions? No, Russell, just Championship and League One we will cover. Which Championship team do you fear for next season? Possibly Stoke if there's chaos. They start badly. They have to ship out players to drop the wage bill with the parachutes gone. Possibly Blackburn. I don't know. Do they sell Armstrong? Elliott goes back. Bit of trouble for Mowbray. Bit of chaos. Who else? Bristol City. If Pearson doesn't start well and they don't get the summer right and the retooling, I don't know. Ishmael said he's not leaving. Well, there we go. That's that sorted then. He's on a long-term contract. He will not be leaving. Callum Stiles says he'll be looking long. Look, let's be honest. I heard Kieran Dyer say he was not leaving Ipswich at the end of one season and he's sold 2 weeks later. So, look, let's not get bogged down in what's said. Let's have a look when the window is going and we're at August the 7th and see who is where. But yeah, obviously, people at Barnsley are going to say, no, we're in for the long term. We'll then see what happens in the summer. Won't we? Where do I think Forest will finish next season? Well, a darn sight higher, hopefully, than 16th for their sake. But no, you'd think Houghton would have them top half, wouldn't you? But there you go. I've already got about 17 teams finishing in the top half of the Championship next season. Can you see Forest keeping Worrell? No, I don't think they will, actually. I think he'll be the one they'll have to sell. Obviously, had to sell cash this summer to raise the cash, literally. So, no, you got to sell one. If you've not got the parachute money, you have to have saleable assets. You have to sell them, and you have to recruit again. We know that. I've banged on about that till I'm blue in the face. Quick couple more. Where do I think Hull will finish next season? Right now, not knowing who they've signed, I'll say bottom 6 for Hull next season. Sorry, Hull fans, but it's hard, man. It's hard. Can they keep Keane Lewis Potter, who might be their guy to then start another recruitment churn around? And will the Alarms be viable Championship owners? They have proved at times to be, but in recent times they've proved very much not to be. Right, thank you all for watching. As usual, great fun here. Let's just do one more cards plug thing. And before I go, please hit like on the video. It really, really helps me out if you can. Get some more subscribers over here. And subscribe if you haven't already. Cards plug, get yourself one of these bad boys. If you've got rubbish pace like me and terrible physicality, then admit it. 20% off your order. Cardsplug.com/Bloom. Enter the discount code Bloom at checkout. Let me know if you want a shout out right now, and I'll give you one at the end of the video. Thank you to our super chatters, especially John. He's £43 super chat. So kind. John, the Wickham fan who's been here for a lot of the season, hasn't he? Thank you so much. John, thank you also to the Donovan brothers who sponsor the preview show in loving memory of Michael, a South East London lifelong Millwall fan, admirer of these shows. Thank you to the Donovan brothers, one of the last preview shows of the season. We will still have playoff previews, obviously, as well. Get involved over on Patreon, blah, blah. You know the deal. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, do-da-do. Mr. E, legend. Cod's Vlogs, very much looking forward. Check that out. Probably most knowledgeable League One guy I know, doing his team of the season. So well worth listening to his views on that later. When's that out, Ben? Plug that in the chat. Cheers to Dan. Bring on the weekend chaos. You love to see it. Amanda, see you for Doomsday. Yeah, join us Saturday. What time are we on? 12 on Saturday, aren't we? Going to be great. Wolfit, yeah, have a good afternoon, everyone. Cheers, John. Thank you again, buddy. Really, really kind gesture. Leeds 2021. Sophie's going to see me. Hopefully that's heaven and not hell. Yeah, hell would be a very, very dull first 10 minutes, wouldn't it? Thank you for running these. You're very, very watching. You're very, very welcome, Steve. I was reading the next track. 130 watching, 4 likes. Come on, yeah, hit that like button. And cheers to Robert. Right, thank you, everybody. That is the preview show, which, I mean, the thing says review, doesn't it? But I'll put it up anyway because it says round 46. And I will see you on Saturday. Ground zero, Sheffield Wednesday versus Derby. Bring it on. You can feel the tension already, can't you? Thank you, everybody. And it's a big over and out from me. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button and to be notified every time we upload. Ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.